Alright, so picking up on the same world we were last, but I've mined some iron since then. Just a bit of mining off camera, as you would say. But the topic of today's video, ooh, there's iron here. The topic of today's video, I wanted to talk about something that if I've had issues with, that's what all of these videos really are. They're all issues I've had and issues or and then how to solve it. Cause I just give you my experience on it. I have enough iron for a full set now. That's good. But I give my advice to you guys. And today I want to talk about time management. So, um, challenges of this is especially for gamers because I've been a game um anyway, I've been a gamer all my life. Okay. Hold on. Hold on here. But I've been a gamer all my life as long as I can remember. I think I started gaming when I was around 5 years old, 6 years old maybe. Like consistently gaming once I was around, yeah, 6 years old. And I've loved it. I think everyone who gaming does gaming loves it, but there has been, of course, periods where I can't game or I can't or I got bored of a game. And so, but I've had issues with time management. Sorry, I'm yapping for this intro, but I take I'm dead here. I'm so dead. And there's a creeper. Oh, oh, hi. I'm so dead. There's no way. Oh my god. Okay. So I wanted to just mention how you can change yourself, how you can keep yourself from wasting time, because that's very important. So I like to, it's very important to prioritize tasks, especially if you're gaming during school time, because I like to game during school. It relieves my stress, obviously, or not during school, but like when school is in session, like, like when it's like when you're not in summer. That's what I'm trying to say. Like you have time and but like after school you want to game because I like to do that because sometimes if I have a stressful game or day, it relieves stress. But it's always important to it's always important to prioritize very important tasks such as homework, which is very important. There's like a horde here. Can I like kill these guys? But it's very important to do that. It's very important to prioritize what needs to be done before you're able to game. So what I like to do is as soon as I get home, I do my homework and I'll take little breaks, but this is just relaxing. I don't game until I actually finish my homework. So I make sure to do my homework. So some days I actually won't have time to do games, but that's life, right? You won't always get what you want. So if I want to game, of course I'll take my time too. You gotta put in the effort. I had this issue when I was young. I would rush my homework because I just wanted to get on the game. I just wanted to game, so I'd rush my homework every time. And I didn't do well in school because of that. And that's probably one of my biggest regrets. But hey, and that's why I'm trying to tell you guys, to my younger audience, to not rush your homework, right? Because obviously, as I'm saying this, it means I've had that experience, right? So I don't want you guys to repeat that same mistake of rushing homework because it's not a good idea and it might seem good in the moment, like, oh, I can finally play games, but trust me, it's not good. Your grades will not be good, right? So I don't recommend it. Obviously, I've changed now. I actually do my work, which is great. And yeah, so I actually prioritize work. And I'll give you tips. A way that I did this is I created a schedule. I actually like had like this thing where I was like, and I set reminders for myself like, yo, do your homework at 4 p.m. because school ended at 3:15. So I was like, yo, and or do your homework basically once you get home, like 4 p.m. So I got home, did my homework, and I included stuff in my calendar, not in my calendar. If I had a big project, I would make sure to finish that. Whatever was due first, I would always make sure to finish because I would prioritize doing what hadn't been done yet and what was due. the quickest. So like if I had a project due tomorrow, I would do that before I did the one that's due in like 3 days because that's more important, obviously. So I would have calendar reminding me to do homework, and I would memorize what project I need to do. And I know this is an issue of at least a lot of my friends, at least, they procrastinate. And I've had this issue before, not to a very big extent, because I always knew the problem with procrastinating, and that was just not getting your work done, obviously. And I'd like to, I never had this issue really, because I didn't actually really procrastinate, thankfully. It was just I would rush my work, which is probably worse, to be honest. If I would much rather procrastinate than and limit and like hold my work than rush my work and just do it badly. Because like at least people who procrastinate, they might not do it some days, but when they do it, and once they end up actually doing it, they usually do well on it. So they do put in the effort, they just procrastinate it. But which I would much rather prefer. And I like to let's go there. I like to balance my work and my free time, right? But usually I just can't do that. So what I find to cope with that is I would do like 30 minutes of homework and like a 5 minute break, or maybe 15 minutes of homework and like a 5 minute break. Depending on how stressful the work was, it would depend obviously because I would need more breaks. And if the work wasn't too bad, I would just zoom through it, and even if it didn't rush it, it was just that easy, I would finish it quickly. So balancing work and play, it's very important to do that because you need to finish your work and you need to be in the state of mind where you're productive, and you need to be in the state of mind where you're like chill, you're calm, but you also need to know that like something is going to happen and you need to do your homework, and but you need to remain calm because I think when you're under pressure, you don't do your work as well, right? Obviously, that's very true, right? You won't do your work as well if you are under pressure, so you need to remain in that calm state. So it's sort of like, what if I'm stressed, then I need to find a way to not be stressed, and I need to find a way to be in my zone and to be happy with what I'm doing, right? And staying focused, which is kind of branching off of procrastination, that's also a big one. Staying focused is very important, and I do that by taking breaks, which I mentioned before. What I did is I would take breaks. I already told you this, but taking breaks is very important because you need to minimize distractions. You need to remain focused because the more you remain focused, the faster you're going to finish your work. And I recommend like time blocking. I recommend creating a dedicated workspace. I recommend motivating yourself to what's to come after you finish because then you're actually more motivated to do your work. You're more motivated to do everything. So I think it's very important to obviously stay on task, right? And yeah, uh, what also trying to think of what else to say that I do, but improvement over time. If you remain on task, if you remain with time management, you will improve and you will, because like over time I set my reminders because I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to work it out, obviously. But what I would do is I would if I notice continuous improvement, that would make me feel a lot better. And if you're doing your work in a timely fashion and you're doing your work where you have time management and then you can go on the game, you will notice improvement in your work because if you actually take your time and you're not always gaming and you're actually dedicating time to work, that's very important because um reviewing and adjusting your schedules and priorities is very important, and you need that because if you're doing better in something or doing worse in something, you have to dedicate obviously more time to it or less time. Like, let's say you're doing really well in math, and then you can probably maintain that, but you can try different options. You can try doing less or try studying less and see how you do. If you do worse, you can maintain what you were doing before, but if you're still doing relatively same, good. You have more time on the game. You're pretty good, actually. So I actually think that's good. I do recommend that. I think that's very important in like knowing your limit, knowing your reach, knowing your overall like capacity. That's the word I was looking for. Knowing your capacity of your work. But yeah, so and self-reflecting, like as I said before, you need to know your limit. You need to know, am I going to do well if I put less effort in it? And some people will, but if you're not, you need to maintain that work, maintain the work you were doing before, obviously. And um I just so basically, in conclusion, you need to maintain your time between gaming and everything important, school, etc. And you need to know your limits, know your reach, know when to take a break, and you need to know when and how you can adjust your schedule, and you need to stay consistent and don't get procrastinated. Because all of that together, it might seem hard in the long run, but it's just so worth it. It's so worth it. So believe me when I tell you this. And it's really, I think it's really important to know that. And it's really important to realize, because the quicker you realize, the better, in my opinion. Because obviously, as I said before, I didn't do great in school because I always rushed. But once you realize you're going to do bad when you're rushed, the earlier, which I'm pretty grateful actually that I realized pretty early. I only did like that for 1 year, maybe 2 years. And obviously, that's pretty early. And it was also when I was young, so school didn't matter. But now I actually know when school does matter, and I do know everything. I'm thankful that I learned that early, and I'm really thankful that I got the advice and I got the knowledge that I needed. And that's all what school is really, experience. So when you're young, in the early days of school, it's about learning. And obviously I learned a really valuable lesson, and I want to pass it on to you guys. And if this helped you, consider liking and subscribing and sharing it to someone else who might need this advice. Thank you all for watching so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.